I can give an update what's going on there, but.
Yeah, okay. And then really quickly, to the new people, I don't know if you received it in the email, but these are the bylaws that we're gonna be voting on in August. So I didn't know if you guys had your email set up yet, and I just wanna make sure you guys had copies.
She is sending it. I think from what I saw, she's still working on that with IT or something, unless I haven't seen something.
Okay.
But we are getting it at or I'm getting it at my personal one right now. So
Okay.
it is coming through.
Awesome, all right. Well, it is 3:30 and right on the dot. So we're gonna go ahead and call the Sumner County Library Board meeting to order. And
No, recording.
it is.
It's
Yes.
going, okay.
All right.
Just making sure.
I've been
No
here
problem.
so long.
No problem. My name is Joanna Daniels. I'm the vice chair, and Jackie is not here right now. So I guess we'll go ahead and go around and do roll call real quick.
Diane Johnson, Beverly Hyde, Susie Trail,
Jim Holcomb?
Kaylee Wilson,
Erica Grammer.
Ruth Fennel.
All right, wonderful. All right, so we're going to start off with public recognition. I put a little sign-up sheet down there. Is there?
Nobody signed up for it.
No? Okay. We also do have the directors here. We have.
Rose.
Okay, all right.
Anita Lambert from Portland.
Gabby Cato from Gallatin.
Amy Corbett from Millersville.
Alicia Neighbors from Hendersonville.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, Diane, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ruth?
Ruth Fennel.
Any objections? No? Okay, wonderful. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 10th and May 24th?
Listen, just to clarify, so without objection, you approve the agenda.
Okay,
I mean, that's making sure that's for the record that it
Yes.
has been approved.
yes, it has been approved. Okay, approval of minutes for May 10th and May 24th? Okay, Beverly?
Seconded?
Second, Jim? Any objections? No? Okay, so for clarification, we have approved the minutes for May 10th and May 24th. All right. Okay, so now we are going to welcome the new members. All right, and we have Jim Holcomb.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Gallatin.
Yep, I feel welcomed. Officially cross it off the agenda.
Wonderful. Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry,
Hello.
we're stuck in traffic.
No, that's okay. Diane is stuck in traffic as well. There's a car fire. I mean, Debbie, sorry. Debbie is stuck on traffic,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
It was a walk for some reason, so that's probably why.
Okay, all right. Did you want to join us up here?
If it's space. If
Yeah.
it's space.
There's
Okay.
space.
There's another
Yeah.
chair down there.
Okay.
Another chair. If Debbie comes, then, you know,
Okay.
need a chair. And Beth, too, I'm not sure where she's at. So, okay.
Roll up some more.
All right. All right, and so Erica Grammer
Yes,
from Millersville.
from Millersville.
Yes, wonderful. And Kaylee Wilson.
Can we just
Portland.
ask them to tell a little bit about themselves?
Yeah.
Because we don't know them.
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome them and say hi, and then absolutely, Jim, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yeah, sure. Recently paroled from Tennessee State. No, just kidding. Totally kidding. Again, my name's Jim Holcomb. I live here in Gallatin. We've been here for about 3 years. Recently retired from the U.S. Secret Service about 2 years ago, and as a former, as a recovering federal agent, I now work in leadership development for a college fraternity.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Great.
it's good times.
Recovering
Recovering federal employee. Yeah.
All right, Secret Service. Anybody has any secrets? Keep telling us.
I'll let the title fool you.
don't tell them here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, ladies, who would like to go next?
Kaylee Wilson. I live in Portland, Tennessee. I'm husband to Quentin. My husband is Quentin Wilson. I have 2 kids, 13 and 3, whom I homeschool, and I've lived in Sumner County my whole life, and I'm just really excited to get to serve in this aspect.
Cool. Wonderful.
And And I'm Erica Grammer, and I am from Millersville, and I moved there 3 years ago this month, actually. I am from Tennessee, but West Tennessee is where I've been hanging out until now. I have a husband of 28 years. His name's Thomas, and then I have 3 kiddos that are adults, and 2 of them, with one as of Saturday just got married, and 1 in 6 weeks will be getting married. So I'm a busy mommy right now, but I'm just really excited to. Libraries have always been something very dear to me. Books are very precious, and so for me, I'm just excited to serve where I can.
If I don't mention my wife and kids, I'll be in trouble.
Yeah, you should do that.
Married, Shannon, happily married, love of my life, 1 adult child, 1 10-year-old.
Wow. All right, wonderful. Ladies, do you want to introduce yourselves? Just Cam one.
Okay, so my name is Cecilia Maynor. I think I received an email from you yesterday. So I represent the Red River Regional Library. I'm the director up there. We're an extension of the State Library and Archives. So we join these meetings, but we're not part of the board, but we give reports and try to support you as much as possible.
I'm Caitlin Haley. I'm the assistant director at the regional office.
On that traffic to get out of my way. Board at me. Sorry.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm Debbie Martin. Been on the board since September, October, that time, so it's fairly new to me.
Awesome. And this is Jim. That's
Jim
Kaylee.
Holcomb. Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
And that's Erica. And those of you who just came in, there are copies of the reports. If you guys want to make sure and grab one each. All right. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the new business.
This is a close up. Make sure you have everything.
All right. Okay, so we're going to move on to new business, and we're going to hear from budget. You okay there?
Yeah.
You got a little excited there, huh? This must be an exciting budget.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Yes, first off, I want to thank all of the directors for all of your hard work. So pat yourself on the back. It was kind of a whirlwind at times, but after 3 readings, it finally got approved. I really don't think there was ever much concern with our budgets at all, except that I did ask for more than I thought we would get, but trying to go in and if you don't ask, you don't get it. Our non-salary items, had to remain flat, even though you guys are getting a lot of money back from the library system, so that'll help you managing each of your libraries in a more fuller way. There was a 3% COLA that went out for most all of Sumner County. Some of the first responders is on a little bit different scale than that, but everybody else more or less got the 3% COLA. So I was really happy about that because it originally started at 2. So we got back to 3, which is good, especially in a year where things were very, very tight. So if you came in, I know some of you were at some of those budget meetings and you heard where they were really kind of tightening things down. But at least to start the new fiscal year, we have a budget that has been approved. So you guys have your money and you can start improving your libraries in the way that you can and meeting all of your debt expenses. We will get together sometime at the end of December or beginning of December, trying not to crowd the holidays, but just to go over everybody's budget. I know that everybody kind of pulls in the reins in the first half of the fiscal year, but then just looking at where we're at and where we need to go to try to get to as much of 100% of spending our budgets as we can. So we'll kind of review that towards the end of actually the calendar year, not the fiscal year, and just kind of make sure that everybody is okay. But otherwise, I'm grateful to the county, I'm grateful to all of you for the work that you put in to get our budgets so that they could be approved. So that is wonderful. I will still attend the budget meetings. when there is something that applies to the libraries, and as you know, you're all welcome. I don't really expect any real issues in the near future, but I will keep an eye on that as they do meet once a month. So, thank you.
Wonderful. Good, that was exciting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we're gonna move on to personnel, and give a report. So yesterday, the Personnel Committee had a meeting, and we did an interview with Alicia Neighbors. She was the only person that applied for the position of Hendersonville Library Director. She's also been the interim library director since March, right? March, yes. And so it was great. I think it was probably about 45 minutes long, something like that. We grilled her. You know, I think, you know, it was nothing but great. She has amazing administrative skills. She has wonderful communication skills. I mean, she just communicates with us wonderfully. She communicates with her staff just phenomenally. She is great. She took a pretty seriously crazy situation and turned it around, and I mean just amazingly. And when I go in there, I see nothing but smiles from the employees. I see nothing but smiles from the patrons, and there's just been great things. So she has, as you all, I sent you the application. She ran her own business and sold it for a pretty good amount to retire. So I mean, that's in and of itself is amazing. And then so she just we all voted to definitely recommend her for the library director. And you know, I don't know if Debbie and Ruth, if you have any comments that you want to make.
Just one of the things that helps to make Alicia a strong candidate, obviously her background in a variety of areas, handling a variety of situations. One of the things that I think appreciated was her willingness to step into a very difficult situation, an awkward situation, and do her best to turn that around, create a positive environment, support the team. She made that very apparent that her priority was her staff and taking care of them. Said she basically, if you looked at her background, always trying to find a way to serve, whether it's birds or animals or staff or you know, people helping to do their trash. So very committed to service, good communication, good listening skills. One of the things that I thought was very helpful was that I asked her, you know, kind of what she might need to be successful, and she was, her response was basically that, you know, talking to the public, making sure what they were looking for, what they wanted, creating additional programs, supporting her staff, but that she was very, very open to communicate and share with the other directors to learn from them, you know, as they've already been there and kind of doing that versus being thrown in the middle of the pond going swim. And so I think that, you know, it'll be a good team effort. And I know she would be very receptive to help from the other directors. And there's things that with her background she can also offer you guys, because she has years of experience in running her own business and different things like that. So I'd definitely love to see all the directors come together and help each other and support each other and learn from each other. So I think she's a good fit.
Okay. Wonderful.
Got anything to add?
Motion to discuss.
Okay, after she's.
No, motion to discuss this. I mean, I know you all are presenting on the applicant, but we do need a motion to discuss it.
Okay.
Discuss it.
Okay, so we'll do a motion to
So
discuss.
moved.
Yes, okay. All right.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, So to clarify, we are now in discussion.
I mean, the reason I didn't interrupt you guys is because you were on the,
She's on the personnel committee as well.
oh, you
She
all, I
is.
forgot, sorry.
Yeah.
That was like, I
That's
remember
okay.
I went to one of those, but that was like 2 months, 3 months.
Yes,
That's
yes,
okay.
I'm on the personnel committee, so.
I knew you were,
So
but I couldn't
yes.
remember that you were.
Okay.
That's all
We're all a work in
I
progress,
just
let's put it
reiterate
that way.
what they said. I think the skill set that Alicia brings to being a director is just phenomenal, and how she's picked up all those things and tried things to help, and is seemingly succeeding with communicating with us, communicating with staff, and community. I think it's just phenomenal, and I'm excited to be part of watching what's going to happen next in the future for Hendersonville Librarian. I'm excited to say that we recommend her wholeheartedly.
Wonderful. All right, we're open for discussion.
I just want to say a few things, is that
Do we need to have a motion first, though,
No.
Stephen?
I'm not on the committee.
Just checking, just
We
checking.
already,
We're good.
We already kicked
Okay,
me
keep
out.
us on, keep us on.
Is that, obviously, you know, I know a lot about Hendersonville, being the director there at one point, and so I've spent a lot of time with Alicia over these last couple of months, because like you have said, she was thrown into a very awkward situation. And she has done nothing but complete the task in a very calm and professional way, caring about her staff. She has learned and embraced learning. You know, she's always said that she wants to learn, and I know she's committed to going to PLMI when it's available for her. She's talked to the region about that, so I think that's very important to be noted. Her staff, she has a lot of new staff, and there's been some turnover only because of staff getting moved, dollars getting moved back to Hendersonville and to some of the other libraries when the library system was dissolved. So she was able to hire some staff due to her leadership and inspiration for the community. Her staff has really stepped up. They've got some new talent, and people are willing, instead of coming in and just wanting to take a paycheck, they want to give to the community in the same way that she does. So I know that there's now a young lady there that knows American Sign Language, and she's going to start attending all of the children's programs in sign. So that will be remarkable to have that. If you haven't seen the snake that was written up, Henrietta, the snake, where people can come in and paint rocks, and they're putting them around the circle of the courtyard, and it will show that we are a united community, and we're a very diverse and inclusive community, because everybody's rocks is different, right? And it expresses themselves, but yet the snake keeps growing. And if you get the Hendersonville Standard, it was written up in the newspaper this past week, so that is wonderful. Her communication skills, as I know, was brought up. It's very hard when you have a large part-time staff to be able to hold a staff meeting, because you're always going to miss half of your staff. She is committed and dedicated to sending out a daily email to her staff to let them know every day what's going on. She's probably missed a few days, but the majority of the week she's covered it. And so it's kind of puts the onus back on the staff to make sure they're getting those emails and to know what's going on. I've also received many comments or compliments to Alicia from the community about what is joy. There's now joy and happiness in the library because of some of the earlier events and how it's gone. And the directors know that the community is very important to the success of the library. And when people come in and say, I feel very welcome here, I sense a sense of joy and happiness, that means a lot. And that's coming not only from the director, but it's her inspiration in building her team. That is also, it's not a one-man show. It is a team in every one of these libraries, no matter how large the staff is. So, not to take any more time, but my endorsement and my vote will be for Alicia. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any comments? Well, I just want to bring up that she just had a birthday, so happy birthday. All right, well, wonderful. So we're gonna, do I have a motion to vote on recommendation? Diane, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed?
Put a recommendation for,
Oh,
I know what
so
it's
for library,
Hendersonville Public Library
Director, yes.
and that person is,
Alicia.
well, I mean, I just want to make sure that that's.
Yes. Yes, so
Get the
sorry.
details.
I mean, I know she's wonderful and everything, we'll make sure
Yes.
we do this the right way.
Yes, so to clarify, we are now voting on the recommendation of Alicia Neighbors, oh my gosh, I cannot talk today, for Hendersonville Library Director. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? All right, so.
And when you turn 21, we'll take you out for dinner. Patience.
And just to the other directors, I know you're all been a director now for a while, so please welcome Alicia into the fold. When you go out and have activities, or, you know, I've often suggested you guys go and have lunch before we come to these meetings.
I tried today, but no.
Did you?
Gabby met.
But now we have another director to bring into that fold, and if nothing else, we can all go and celebrate when Lauren gets back, right? So, it's nice to have that position permanently filled.
Well, and just also to kind of build on that, thank you guys for holding down the fort in your departments while Lauren's out, you know, helping provide guidance to Alicia and, you know, and taking care of your team, your staff, your locations, so that there was.
Suspend the rules so we can
Direction on that.
openly discuss. So we're going to suspend the rules so that you guys can say thank yous to them, and also, Alicia, if you want to say anything, just because since we're have to suspend the rules, so you can say anything.
Thank you for your trust. I was a unexperienced newcomer, and you trusted me to do it, and I thank you for that.
And I second what Ruth and Diane were saying to you guys as well, to the directors. Thank you so much for helping her out and everything. So it was awesome. So I'm making sure I'm doing this by the book. So, all right.
That's why he's here, keep us honest.
That's right. He looked at me and I was like, I know, I'm trying to get it. So, all right. So now I'm unsuspending the rules. Now we're back. Okay.
Back in session, yes.
Literally just making it up. It's all right. I love it.
Sorry. We gotta have fun at these meetings sometimes, you know. Okay, all right, so now we are going to move on to director reports. All right, and so Amy, we're gonna have Amy Corbett from Millersville first.
Hi everybody. Here's I already got Jim his. This is and y'all got yours in May, so I didn't reprint them. It's our summer calendar from our events. Yes, we only have 2 weeks left for our summer reading program, but now everybody's kind of up to speed. I'm Amy, I'm the library director of Millersville. I started in October. I have survived one burst pipe that closed my library for a month, as well as our shed being broken into in February, and half of my staff has had turnover, and I'm currently looking for another staff member. That was a nice, brief, short bit. My packet is not creative. I'm not a Gabby. I gave you the numbers. I am more than happy to go over them if you have any specific questions. I did not, I think I gave everybody this really ugly graph. I'm not a creative person. I like a good spreadsheet and a good graph, and this graph is not good, but it's got the numbers, and that's all that matters. It's just a comparison of a couple things between fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. that I was just really just kind of pleased with. We've increased the number of our physical collection, and that does not count. We lost almost 1,000 books in the flood. And so even with that loss, we're still up in our physical numbers. Our circulation has gone up quite a bit, which I'm really excited about, and please keep in mind, our library was closed for a month. So I'm like, these numbers should be better, but, you know, water. I've upped our electronic collection, and we've got plans from working with that collection development to work on upping our electronic resources. This is like our ebooks and our e-audiobooks for if anybody uses the Libby app, because it's something that our community's like, we commute into Nashville, we want more. So, okay, I can do that. So we're gonna watch that number. My hopeful goal is to double it this year. You can see where our electronic circulation has improved. So this is, you know, I've talked with people and that's what they want. So I can do that. It's books. I do books. I can do that.
It's a good jump, Amy. It's a lot of cert
It is.
for the collection.
I'm very pleased. Our library visitors did go down some, but we were closed for a month, so I feel like that number would actually be higher.
Right.
But I know it's my excuse, but it's a good one. Our reference questions have gone up, which is just, if you haven't been to Millersville, I love it when people come ask us questions, and it's something that we've been cultivating since I got there to be helpers. And our community sees that, and they're coming in and they're asking for more help, and it just makes me so happy. So I love what I do, so I'll try to be, I'm not cool, I'm not. Our children's programming has increased, and I'm really excited. We're gonna hopefully add an older homeschool program. We have our bookworms, which is for anybody can come, but it's more younger, Fridays, and then we have our homeschool, which is a little bit early elementary, and we're wanting to add an older homeschool group time. We're discussing the day, and then we're hoping to add more adult programming and senior programming. We have to figure out where the teenagers are. They're all going up to White House because it's so close to the high school, because we don't have a high school in Millersville. And our self-directed programs were less, but we're trying something new that hadn't been done at Millersville. We're trying to do a scavenger hunt to teach children how to use their cognitive reasoning skills, and it has taken off. They love it. And so I feel like something we were trying out during the summer to see how it goes, and these kids will come in for our garden club on Monday. They'll do it, and then they'll come in Wednesday for our program, and they're disappointed that it's still the same scavenger hunt. Because we've been doing it by themes for the week. So this week we had the Millersville Police Department were our visitors today, so it's a community helper scavenger hunt. And so we're really excited about the growth and the opportunity and the potential that we have. I have a great team, and if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to make up answers. And please, if you do have any questions when you look over these, I'm more than happy to make up answers for those. Sometimes they'll even be the right answer. I can fake it with the best of them.
Regarding the flood,
Yes, ma'am.
did they come back to you with giving you your money?
I got that email from Beth, and I was trying to get the state standards done yesterday, so I'm going to email her when I get back to the building.
Because it sounds like the money's there.
Maybe. I'm wondering if it just all went to the construction and they kind of forgot about my $10,000 worth of damaged books.
Yeah, well, you've got that document.
I do,
So
but
if you're not getting anywhere, then let me know. And I'll go talk to Mr. Roy.
I'll go, well, they put it back in the mayor's office, so I need to contact them. But just gonna finish payroll, email everybody, it's fine, just make it up. That was Millersville, and I have a lot of squirrel moments, I apologize. I've cut down the caffeine, hopefully that'll help. Does anybody have any other questions or anything I might be able to help with? All right, fabulous. It's so nice to meet our new board members. I'm so glad you're here. It's nice to see a full table again.
Thank you. All right. Next we have Gabby Cato from Gallatin.
Anita's the only one in our whole group that has any cool, so
Alicia's got cool.
I hope
We're not.
The biggest thing I included in mine is I was doing a lot of comparing our numbers from the previous year to this year because I'm incredibly proud of our numbers considering that we are down an employee, which has been painful. But our summer reading this year, the numbers have been incredible. I don't know who of y'all know, we had to move 2 years ago because of COVID. We moved our big summer reading events to the farmers market. We had a show, and last year we had to have 2 shows, so we have to pay every single entertainer that we have or hire or our staff doing everything. We have to do it twice every Friday because our numbers are so high. And this year, the farmers market is not even big enough. We've had too many people, and the parking lot, I don't know if you've ever been to the Elton Farmers Market, but you have their parking, the police next door, the fire department across the street, and then the whole West Franklin Street, and we fill it up every Friday. And we give snacks, we give craft kits, we give entertainment. We have huge displays of books that go along with whatever we're doing that week, and they're going home with people, and it's just been an incredible summer. I also included some stuff about our social media. I saw somebody else do it on Facebook, and it was really good. And when I looked at ours, it was insane. Like we were up like 500, 600, 700% over the last year. So I just shared some of that information. I'm trying to think. I also gave y'all another copy of our summer reading calendar. It's packed full. We're program heavy, and I think staff is doing really well, and we haven't had anybody quit anytime recently. Things are settling down. It's just been awesome, and I would love to see. I've also taken Jim hostage twice. Y'all know how I can babble a little. And I would love to meet y'all and spend time and show off my library if you ever have a chance. It'd be great to meet y'all. Any questions? I made it colorful like you said.
Doing great.
Gabby, what position are you hiring for?
No, we don't have any others.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you were down one.
We lost an employee during the whole system switch.
Okay. And that one's not being replaced?
We don't have the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your reference transactions went up so much.
We actually started counting them instead of using a formula like we did last year.
And so it just-
We started tallying every single time somebody came and asked us a question. And like I've got it broken down by days, and we've got charts on like which days are busier now, and we know when to staff heavier in those areas.
Yeah.
Like
That's good.
we are really they're enjoying seeing. It was hard to get them to start keeping count of things because you do so much as you're going. It does slow you down, but once they started seeing how impressive and insane the amount of work they're actually doing.
I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's been exciting.
It's awesome.
I like the way you highlighted.
That's Anita's.
Oh,
That's mine.
It's her cool. Well, it's her cool. That's right. That's her. Don't stomp on the cool. That's right.
I made it pretty just for you. I'm so excited. I'm dying to hide. And Alicia, we are so excited to work with you. We make a great team, and we're excited to have you with us. Anybody else?
Well, I enjoyed my tour. Thank you.
Yeah, I also put Beverly hostage too. Don't come visit me unless you've got plenty of time. Like set out. Yeah.
It was good.
Well, thank you so much, Gabby. Appreciate it. Okay, so next is Anita Lambert. Portland.
I'm the calm one because I'm the oldest. I'm like, oh, girl. I think I'm even older than you are. I think so. I think we determined that. Yeah.
Fairly.
Yes, I'm Anita Lambert. I'm from Portland, so nice to meet you and everything. I've actually been with the library system for 11 years, actually starting first of this month. It's been 11 years. I started out in Hendersonville, working as the circulation supervisor, and then moved up to Portland because it was closer, obviously it's where my home is, and became the assistant manager there, and then when our last director retired, I moved up to director. So I'm very pleased to be with the system for as long as I have, yeah. I did give you the one that's got the blue on the front, and there's a couple of things that I would like to point out on here. If you'll look right up here, there's a sign. There's a signpost. The city of Portland has added so many of these around the city, and every single one of them points to the library. I saw Mayor Calvin today. He came to our library and actually did a program for us this morning, and I hugged him because I said, thank you so much for doing the signs.
Did you have to lobby it, or did he just do it?
No, actually I asked him and he said the Chamber of Commerce got a grant, a tourism grant and everything.
Nice.
And he said, we basically said, let's put everything we can on there. And we went from having one sign in the city of Portland to now having, you've probably seen them all around town.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, there's 7, 8, 9 of them and everything. So we're extremely happy about that because we have so many people moving to Portland. I mean, every time, 2 or 3 times a day, we have people walk in, they say, just moved to the area.
Oh, wow.
So Portland's really growing and everything, yeah. Some of the other events we had here, yes?
Just one question, since I had eye surgery yesterday.
You can see it?
I can't really see
You
this
can't.
real well. Are these directional, that it's got
Yes.
little arrows?
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
that's doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Every
that's
single
cool.
one of them says library and it has a pointing arrow for which way they need to go.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're fine, you're fine. One of the adult things we did was a Bob Ross, painting with Bob Ross. All of the adults, I mean, they had a blast with that. And if you look at the picture, every single one of them looks different. They all painted the same thing, but every single one of them looks different. So they had a blast with that. Our big event that we had in June that the kids just loved was the phone party. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a phone party or been to a phone party.
Yeah.
They love it. They pulled Miss Linda in and she got wet and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Super fun.
The boring stuff is the numbers, the next couple of pages.
It's informative.
But if you will look at the last page, as Cecilia has already said, I actually put like little bubbles on here of some things that were really, really impressive for us and everything.
That's very cool.
I mean, we had over 15,000 more library visits.
Wow.
That's good.
Compared to last year.
That's great.
So we're really pleased with that. 7,000 more items got checked out. We had 678 new patrons sign up for library cards and everything. Our program attendance went up by almost 3,000, you know.
That's awesome.
And I wanted to say, and I told him yesterday and everything, these numbers look great, they really do, but the more important thing is, every day when I'm walking around the library, I hear compliments to our staff, compliments about our library, compliments of how much we help them. To me, that means more than these numbers.
That's why these numbers are the way they are.
Exactly, yeah. Well, our staff members, basically, I had one staff member go and spend like 30 minutes with an elderly couple on a computer that needed some Social Security help. They had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
She went over and helped them. Had a little boy walk in that just was dying to find, you know, the book that everybody else was reading, and he needed to read it. So Linda had to take him, you know, and find. It's stories like that that I love, as opposed to the numbers. The numbers are great, you know, that's what a lot of people look at, but it's just the hard stories that I like to tell. Yeah. Any questions for Portland?
Well, these numbers are big without the directional signs, so they're gonna be
Yes.
even
Yeah.
more
Yep.
next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I didn't realize people were moving to Portland. So.
Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just far enough away from Nashville to
Yeah.
still
It's
live
like
kind of
in-
out in the rural
in the
area and
country.
everything, so, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
become the next hot spot.
No,
A
no,
lot of my friends have moved there.
yeah, I know.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions for
Gallatin's
Portland?
still the
You have a beautiful library.
We have an amazing.
grew up in
library.
Gallatin.
Yes, that is actually one of the biggest compliments that we get. As soon as people walk in, they'll say how nice the library looks and how much prettier it is than their other library that they moved from or something or whatever. Not Sumner County. It's not Sumner County.
Do you need anybody to teach on sourdough? 'Cause I
We have,
supposed to.
I started to say, we have it coming up this Saturday, and she told us to do 15 people, I think we got 17 people coming. So, yeah, that may be something we might add as a regular coming up and everything. One of the other events, if you'll flip over, we're actually having a murder mystery. So anybody that wants to sign up and come do a murder mystery, we still have some places available and everything. It is a Mardi Gras murder mystery. So wear your mask, come dressed up with your beads and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're having a murder mystery in 2 weeks.
Tell them how successful the last year's was, the cruise was.
Oh, yeah, we had a ton of people sign up for the murder mystery last year and everything, and I mean, they so got into their characters. One of the guys got murdered, well, his wife just went on and on and on about, oh my gosh, he's murdered, oh, what am I gonna do? Come to find out she's the one that did it. So,
I wasn't fooled for a minute.
That's cool.
Westmoreland, basically, I go there every couple of weeks and everything, just to check in with them, see if there's anything that we need to do or anything like that. They are doing amazing there too. They've got more programs this year. They're doing things outside at the park. Sally's one of the girls that they stole from me. But anyway, she's there now, and she's getting ready to start a teen program, which they have never had.
Oh, wow.
So she's getting ready to start that and everything. But they are just doing an amazing job there also. And Lauren's looking forward to getting back. Yeah. Her baby is beautiful, but yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
On July 5th, was your therapy dog visit for the people or the dogs? Because of the fireworks. I mean, my dog just hates.
It was for the people.
Okay,
Yes,
just checking.
she comes every month and they read to the dog and everything, but this was specifically, she kind of described his job as a therapy job, or
Okay.
therapy dog and
All right.
everything, yeah.
I thought there might be
Yeah.
therapy for the dogs that were traumatized
No.
by the fireworks.
No.
Not a bad idea.
Since I have one, yes.
I have an oil for that.
All right, anybody else?
Kudos
Again,
to
welcome to our
everybody.
new members. Thank you so much for joining us and everything. I look forward to seeing you.
Yes,
Both of you can, all of you, 3 of you come and see the library and
Thanks,
everything. We'd
Anita.
love to show you the most beautiful library in Sumner County.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
That's the way we're playing. That's the way we're playing.
Yeah.
Some Game of Thrones stuff going on here.
Anyways, yeah. And we'll let you anytime you need it.
Next we
Gotta
have
come up with,
Alicia
like, instead of Game
Neighbor.
of Thrones, like Game of Fines.
Hendersonville.
Okay, so I'm Alicia Neighbor, and it's good to meet the new people. And once again, thank you for earlier today. Now I get to officially do this. So I printed a little newsletter, not really doing a whole lot of contrast with last year's numbers. In a lot of the transition, a lot of those files and records are not easily accessible to me. I have to go on people's memories of what it was like last year. So I thought we were I was like, well, this is really busy, this is nuts, but apparently it really is, because we've almost tripled from last year. For instance, at the bottom, or somewhere on this page, sorry, at the top, I did this really fast. For our SRP updates, like for the teens, we have 107. Those are reading logs that teens are actually turning in. Currently we have 107, but there's 200 that have been taken, compared to last year where we had 1. Whoa. So that's a big jump. Adults, I believe our number last year was around 100, a little over for that. This year we've doubled that. Children's is kind of scattered. It was difficult to get numbers today because our stuff is just flying. We had prepared 1,500 bags for just the 6 years old and below, and we're out. So we have had to reorder more stuff because there's just reading logs being turned in. Currently, we have upped our programs. We pretty much have a program or 3 running every hour of the library. Half of my staff is doing CERC, the rest are running the programs, and they're, it's programs that they have come up with. We polled the community back in April, started really getting responses in May of things that they wanted to see. A lot of our programs reflect that, as well as our upcoming programs. We have a large need in our community for more literature-based programs for the adults, whether it be writing courses, learning to write resumes, and things like that. And then we're also looking at a teen program where we're going to be teaching them Adulting 101. So we will be bringing people in to teach them, how do you make a grocery list? How do you know item prices? How do you file your taxes? If you get a flat tire? Things like that, because it's just not something that our kids, especially teens, know anymore. And when they try to get resources online, it's not always the most accurate thing. So we've also had a large request from the community for more tween programs. So we are doing some Dungeons and Dragons stuff, which apparently is really big. We had 40 kids say that they wanted to do an extreme spelling bee. These children are between the ages of 7 and 13.
Wow.
The words they submitted, I'm not even gonna go to work that day. I don't know what they're saying. It's probably gonna be pretty intense, and we're looking at some big prizes for that, and partnering with some of our schools to see what we can do with that. Our biggest program in June, once again, kind of focusing with our teens, because that's been our focus for the summer, was our murder mystery for the teens. I didn't think anybody would sign up because it was an 80s roller skating. I'm like, what teenager today is gonna want to do that? I've never seen so much neon and hairspray in my life than when these teens came in. They had tennis shoes where they had put like little round things on the side to look like roller skates, because I told them they couldn't roller skate in the library. And they went all out. It's amazing what they do in these murder mysteries. I ended up getting killed that day, so that was tragic. We also, in the spirit of death and grim things, we held a funeral for our seniors, the ones who are passing away from our teen program. So they all made a little urn with their little memory from their childhood to go on a case to remember, and they will be coming back, especially with our program of adulting, to be mentors for some of our younger teens coming in who really don't feel like they fit in quite yet.
I wondered where you were going with that for a minute.
That's how we get rid of things.
Seniors? Okay.
High school seniors.
Not
like
Circle of life, Anita.
Gotcha.
Hey, we, we're not discriminate on that. We do it for the seniors too. Like I said, the rock snake, it was just kind of a little ha-ha we saw on Pinterest, and thought, oh, that might be fun to do. And it really kind of took off. And we are all the way over 60% of the circle now.
Wow.
And with the amount of people who come in every day to paint the rocks and place it and take their picture with their rock, we're gonna quickly outgrow that space. And so I don't know where we're going to put all these rocks. We talked about writing HPL, on the back or something about the library, and hiding them back into the community, so people can find their rock and bring it back, or find another rock and bring it back. Just as a way to kind of keep it going. We're hoping they don't end up through anybody's windows, especially with our names on it. The number of programs we had last year, just our internal programs, was 565. The attendance for the full year in those programs was in the 12,000s. Some of these, honestly, I was not there when these programs were running. I don't really have good numbers on them. I can only speak for about the past 4 or 5 months on that. But if you have any questions about anything going on at Hendersonville, I'm happy to answer. I do need to get emails for the new people so I can rope y'all into our shenanigans as well.
I think they've already been added to the library board emails.
Yeah,
So you write boards,
Exactly.
they're already in
Yeah,
there?
library board members and.
they're in
Figure
there,
that one
I just
out
think
now.
that
IT.
you have to go through a whole
Yeah.
fun
Get
time
your
of
password and
getting
sign
your
up.
password and all that stuff, so yeah, so it's just an IT thing.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, and so, are you gonna do adulting for adults?
I don't know anybody who can teach it. I need to attend it.
Good point.
So-
right.
I'll teach it.
Okay.
We are reaching out to
Teach us cool
people like
things.
our local banks and different lawyers and auto mechanics and stuff, for them to come in and be the one to kind of teach these programs, because I have a pretty young staff right now, and they're probably gonna attend as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Alicia.
Thank
Okay,
you.
wonderful, thank you so much. All right, Cicely Maynard with the Red River Regional.
Thank you. So I have, so I sent out my report, I think it was yesterday, so you might have read through it already, but I'll go through some of the highlights in that. But before I start, I want to say thank you to all of you who did the trustee certification program. I think we had all of you guys do it, so which is very impressive. I was like, I always feel a little bit bad that I'm pushing you, but at the end of the day, like, it's good because I think all of these guys apply for the tech branches.
Yes.
So it's really going to pay off. So I appreciate you doing that.
Do our new people know about
So I will. So that's the other thing I want to talk about today too. So all you new trustees, what we normally do with you is that we sit down and have like an orientation with you. So either in a group or one-on-one. Just depends on your schedule really. We sit down and talk about kind of what our role is, what type of training we have available for you, the agreement that is kind of in between the libraries and the state library, that kind of stuff. So it usually takes about an hour, and it's usually kind of just getting to know you because we'll be working with you for a while, I hope. So I'll, as soon as we finish today, maybe we can talk about it, or I'll email you and we'll set something up. And I also have this form here, which is really just for us to kind of keep track of your email and your address and all that stuff. So if you can just find an empty spot and just kind of fill out, if I can just send that to you first. Perfect. So that's that. I also want to thank the directors because they have been amazing. They are joining every meeting that we have, every training that we have. They're very active, and I like how they work together. So yesterday I was talking to them about getting the survey done, the standard survey done, and they're like, "Oh, we're working together. And Anita is just like, I'm going to help. Whoever needs. It's just I really like the spirit of it, and I just wanted you guys to be aware as well." Also social media, I think I follow all of them on Facebook or Instagram or something, and they're just very impressive. And I know Gabby put that in her very impressive package. It's just kind of like, I'm just kind of in awe. And we always say that these libraries are very program heavy, very customer service, and they obviously still are doing that. So I just wanted to tell you that. A few weeks ago, we had a training with Chuck Sherrill, who's our retired state librarian now, and he talked to us about, or to our librarians, about how to work with public officials, how to work with your county, kind of giving the director some ideas of how to deal with that. And it was, I thought it was a really good training because I feel like I learn something new every time, and it's a very nuanced conversation. But one of the things he said that day, and I wanted to bring it to all the boards, was that it's always a good idea for the boards to find a way to communicate with the county or the city about what you do, what kind of business you do. Not just about the programs, but maybe, just kind of like either send them the minutes or send them a bullet point email saying, these are the things we voted on this time, just so that they are aware of the business that you're doing. And I think that because they obviously appoint you to this board, and sometimes we forget, like, oh yeah, we should probably tell them that this is what we're doing, because you guys are obviously very active and do a lot of stuff. So just keeping them informed and finding a way to do that, I think is a good idea. Unless you already do it, then just forget about it. I did send you a couple of documents. One was showing kind of how the counties support the libraries, kind of comparing all the counties to each other. If you have any questions about that, just let me know. It's a little bit confusing because I'm not talking about per library, I'm talking about per county, which is kind of have to switch the thinking a little bit. So, but if you look through it and it's like, I don't understand these numbers, just email me or call me or something and we can talk about it. And then there was another document that just shows you a bunch of statistics, which is, might be fun, but you kind of get that from the libraries every year. And if you ever want to get statistics about, if you want to know, I know they're actually quite good at it, but if you want to know how you compare to other libraries around the state, or see kind of, this is how we did it in 2009 and this is how we do it now, if you want those numbers, let me know and I'll get them for you. I'm glad the budget is going well and everything is, maintenance of effort will be sent out soon. We just have that updated now, so that will come to, I think what we do is we normally send it to the board chair and the directors, and then it kind of goes through the motions.
Yeah, and this year's gonna be weird because we've had,
Yeah,
so.
and we'll just deal with it, you know, it will be fine, I think, yeah. But that will come out. And the library service agreement, which is the agreement between the regional system and the libraries, usually gets signed this month. This year we made some changes to it. We added a couple of sentences about making sure that the libraries have good collection development policy and reconsideration forms, so that we know that you are, if you get a challenge in for a book, that you are ready for it and you have a procedure set in place. So that means that I don't have it yet, but when I get it, I'll send it to Jackie, get her to sign it, and then you guys will discuss it later. But I think you have it, as far as I know, I think you're in a good place. So anyway, so that's coming out. I also have the official service population document with me, which is showing you kind of, and I only have 2 copies.
Can you send that to all of us?
I can. I would like to get it signed today if I can. It shouldn't be, it's not controversial. These numbers are based on census, based on the census county numbers, and the distribution is based on the formula that the board at some point has decided on. So if I can get maybe Joanna to sign that today, that would be great. But if you don't want to, I can also just send it to Jackie and get her to sign it. This is something that we send out every year and get the board chair to sign. It's just kind of this, and yeah.
What's it called again?
It's called Official Service Area Population, and we call it OSAP.
We call it OSAP. And really, when you, the reason why it's important is that it decides the levels per library. So if you are if you're a library that serves more than 50,000 people in this state, we call you a level 5 library, which is the highest level that we have, which again goes back to some standards that we have. So we look at the standards and we say, well, if you're a level 5 library, you need to do all of these things. If you're serving a smaller population, you don't have to do that much. That's kind of the thing.
This relates to state funding, as well, based upon population.
Well, not really.
Yeah.
So what we do is that we fund the libraries through the regional system for books and materials. So the money never hits their budget. It's just tracked. But we do allocate money for each library. But that number has been stable for, I think, about 10 years. So we don't change it. And I don't have that number here, but that, so at some point when we divided up the allocations for state funds, it was probably based on population at some point.
So that was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, it might be more than that, but what I'm trying to say is that the state funds that we give the libraries has not changed. That sum of money has been the same.
It's been stayed the same for a decade or more.
Even if the census numbers change, we don't.
I know it's changed considerably between 2010 and 2020 year.
Yeah. So we get a sum, like the regional office will get a sum that has been the same forever. So we just have the money that we have. So it means that the library, even if, let's say, Hendersonville, got 10,000 more people this year, it wouldn't change that number.
The purpose of this is to determine service requirements based upon the population that the libraries themselves have to provide.
Yeah, so we have what we call Tennessee state standards for public libraries.
But it's not mandatory.
It's not
So this isn't mandatory that...
No.
To meet them.
Yeah, so the standards are what we use to kind of see how libraries are doing, and we divide the libraries up by level based on that population you're seeing right there.
So what is the purpose of us signing this?
Well, it's part of the library service agreement, which is just kind of you agreeing that this is the population that you're serving. And the library service agreement is the agreement between us and the regional system and the county or the libraries. So it's in that service agreement, which I don't have with me because it's not done yet, it's being updated. As one of the required documents is for this to be signed every year. And again, these numbers are just that you're seeing, looking at now, are based on census numbers, and they don't really. It's really just saying this is the county population that you have in this county, and these are the distributions per library that you have.
Population distributions, right?
But the funny thing with Sumner, and this is not making it easier to talk about it, but the funny thing with Sumner is that because I'm sure that when you look at those numbers, if you're from Sumner, you might think, oh well, I don't understand why this is looking like this. So when Sumner added Millersville a few years ago, the library board sat down and decided this is how we're going to distribute between the libraries in this county. So you might look at, let's see, I'm not looking at it now, but if you look at Portland, maybe, you might think that number is higher than the population of the city of Portland is. But that's a decision that was a decision that the library board made.
What would be the effect? I'm not saying we're not going to do this,
yeah,
or I would recommend that we do this, but what's the effect of someone who didn't do this, sign this, what happened?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but what I do know is part of this library service agreement, so it's kind of like when you're part of the regional system, you want to, you're getting state funds for library materials, you're getting support from the regional office.
So this could possibly affect.
Possibly, but that will be.
This is not very descriptive. That's why I'm concerned with it. It just says methodology amendment endorsement. It doesn't say why we're doing it. That's my concern with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and plus it's the first time seeing it, and I don't have any numbers to support anything that's even on here. Like I don't have any. Anything to go.
And I have no. If we need to, sit down and talk about it and meet with maybe the state data coordinator who creates these every year, we can do that too.
It might be useful for maybe you and
just some background
to sit down and discuss. The idea
what it means.
Yeah, I think it would be good for everybody.
For everybody,
to know this because
and I get it because this is quite a new board, and usually this is one of the least controversial documents I give out. So that's a good. I don't mind talking. But I do think it might be interesting for you guys to, because let's say you were Dixon, for instance. So Dixon County has one library, and Dixon County has 50,000 people.
Right.
And that's what census says, and we're not making that number up. So for them it will be easy because they have one library, they will get the entire 50,000 population now, and that means that they are the level they are based on the population, based on what has been decided levels mean in this state. But because you're Sumner and you have 5 different libraries in it, it makes it a little bit more complicated.
So what you're saying is when you have a unified library system, it's easy. Like if they were all under the same umbrella, it would be like Dixon for all intents and purposes.
Yeah. So so let's say you were a system.
Like Knox County or something like that.
Yeah. If you're not. Yeah. So if you have like one library per county, it's you get what you get. You can't get more than what the county has. So if you had one library in Sumner County, your library population or your service population would be 200,000 or whatever that number says. Because you're 5 of you, that population has to be split up amongst the 5 libraries.
Right.
And based on that formula, each library gets a level, which doesn't really mean. It means a little bit. Because it means something when we look at the standards, we would say, well, if you're Hendersonville, because you have such a big population to serve, you should be doing all these great things. But if you're Westmoreland, we don't think that you necessarily need to be doing that because you have a smaller population to be serving. And it doesn't have, our levels is purely based on population and not on budget, which is also another part of this discussion. But I'm happy to talk more about it, and I'm happy to maybe include some more people in the discussion too, just to give some clarification.
When do you need this back?
I think we might have maybe September or something.
September?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
That gives you guys time to, discuss this, and maybe flesh out more of these details and everything to make an informed signing of this.
Yeah,
My
and those
recommendation.
numbers are not gonna change. That's what we're working with, right?
Yeah, so the population of the county is the population of the county. That's just how it is. So the way it's been distributed.
And we only have one that's like level 5, right?
Yes. So Gallatin and Portland are level 4. Westmoreland is level 2, based on the population that they're getting. And I'm not 100% sure if Millersville is 3 or 2, I think. Yeah.
So, we're gonna have a special called meeting in August. We haven't come up with the agenda yet, so.
We can have this on that would be great.
Okay, so then you can come and explain, have more discussion about this.
And I might maybe get in touch with you to get some like specific questions that you need to have answered to, so we are prepared for it. That would be great.
And then if you can send this to all of us so that we can, take a look at it. And then also, and I do understand the levels 1 through 5 and all that, and so, but.
Yeah. And let me say one more thing too, because this is, like I said, this was a formula that at some point the library board in Sumner County decided this is how we're going to do it here. This is how we divided them now. And part of it, when you added Millersville to the mix, it was a big deal for the board to keep the libraries that were already here at the same level.
Yeah.
So that was part of the thinking when they distributed that money or gave Millersville that population. So it's a little bit complicated with Sumner, but and that will be also something that I think maybe not this year, but next year that the board can discuss. Like, okay, well we don't think that's a good idea. We want to distribute that differently. That will be up to the board too. So anyway, so but can I just the reason why Caitlin is here today is that she is responsible for training in our office, and she makes a training plan, and she also makes sure that each of the staff members get enough training per the library service agreement again. So she's here to kind of talk to you about how the libraries did this year. So I'll let her talk about that.
Okay, so for the new board members, part of the agreement between the libraries and the board and us as its office is that all the library staff has to do a certain amount of hours, continuing education hours every year. So our office offers a lot of opportunities for that, but the state library also offers opportunities, and then they can find some on their own. So I passed around some infographics for y'all. So the first one is Gallatin. And I just wanted to brag on these directors because they've had quite a transitional year, and they've said to me in many meetings and conversations, like, we're going to try to do better on training. I know, we're struggling.
Yelled at. She
No, she's lying. I'm firm but fair. I like to know.
And absolutely perfect.
So they've really been trying very hard to meet these, and they're working with me very well. So I just want to brag on them. I do not have Hendersonville because Alicia is brand spanking new, so that's okay. You have a pass for sure. And then Lauren's obviously on maternity leave, so I'll just get hers when she gets back. And if you want me to talk about that at a later board meeting, I can do that. But I did want to show you guys. So Gallatin, obviously, of the 3 that I have here, has the most staff members. So Gabby and her crew did over 200 hours, which is really great. And then I list some of the subjects covered. So these are just things that they did training on, and that was the topic. So those are some of the things that they learned about this year. And then we have a program at the state library that's brand new this past year, called Core Competencies, and it's 28 online modules that library staff and directors can take. And it's basically, it's like a library service 101 kind of course. So for like clerks that come into, that are employed by the public library that have never worked at a public library before, sometimes they don't know what's expected of them or what library service is about. So we try to kind of hit it from the beginning and have them learn as much as they can about library service. Make sure they're prepared, because when the public comes in, they assume everyone at the desk is a librarian. So we just want to make sure everyone's trained properly. So that's the core competencies. It's 28 online modules, and if you do all 28, you get 10 hours of continuing education credit. So 8 people on Gabby's staff did it, which is just so great. And then for Millersville, small but mighty with the 5, they did 50, which is wonderful. And then I have theirs that they've done, some subjects that they learned about. And then Amy did the core competencies, so we're really happy about that. And then Portland has 10 staff members. They did 91.5 hours of training, and 3 of their staff members did core competencies. So I'm very proud of them, and they made it a mission to do it in a transitional year. That was a lot going on, and I'm just proud. And I wanted to talk about it. So.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job. All right, anybody have any questions?
See, I had one question for you.
Yes.
Thanks. This is a lot of information to, take on.
I know.
Yeah. So my understanding is there's funding allocated by the state to the libraries, and that's based on, their rating level, and that.
Yeah, so the way, it's, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
plus
and
other things, they were, the allocation, how they distributed that was made a long, long time ago, and I don't think I can just say this is how they, the exact formula.
There's a formula that includes a
it's
blindfolded monkey
yes.
with a dart in a blacked out room.
A little bit.
Totally get it.
Mm-hmm. But it hasn't changed.
Right,
Yeah.
but one of those factors is population, you had mentioned, right? Or the people we service, and that hasn't been adjusted. Are the standards that the libraries are assigned to meet, based on their population, is that adequately funded by the state? And if not, how do we get that parity?
So this, do you care if I speak?
Yeah, just-
Okay,
yeah.
so the standards are a booklet, and they are written by the regional library system, and what they are just like, library has a printer for patrons, library has X, and so they list them all out. So those are not mandatory to have to be met. So that's an important point. They're strongly encouraged, and we hope that they strive and go for those goals, but they're not. It's not tied to funding at all. They're just aspirational goals that we hope the libraries try to achieve.
Yeah.
And how it's broken up is by level. So if you are Clarksville or Hendersonville, we ask that you try to achieve more than like Westmoreland.
Sure.
Surely, purely because of budget constraints and staff constraints. So the standards are kind of just like a separate thing. How we use them to try to grade, or I guess figure out what's appropriate for each person to meet a goal, is based on population. Because the more you have, the more you're given, and the more you can do. So that's not tied to funding at all, so it can be kind of confusing.
So it's not like, hey, here's the expectation, and we're going to fund
Yes.
to meet that
Yeah.
expectation. The expectation is that funding will come from other sources.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Based on a local, yeah.
That's a big, so the amount of money the libraries here get for books through the state is quite a small number compared to the budget. Their budget or their funding is from the county and the cities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we look at the percentage of that, it's a tiny number, especially
Understood.
for the bigger libraries that have a big book, book budget. But for some of our libraries in Tennessee, they don't have a book budget at all. So this state allocations that they get is a big deal for them.
So literally all
But
they get.
it's if you look at the big picture, it's not a big not a huge number, but it does depend on the need. But yeah, the standards are kind of a separate type of document that we're not tying to any type of funding. But it's
Thank you.
It's a lot. So we'll talk about that when we meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to get questions like that because it's sometimes like, you know, trying to think in that way, but yeah. And we can see if we can I can bring the numbers that we have for each of the libraries so you can see how much they're getting.
Yeah. I love spending other people's money on libraries.
Yes.
Me too.
So you have to spend the county's money, basically.
Yeah. It's part of my money.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, okay, well, thank you so much, really appreciate that, and, all right, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Diane, do we have a second?
Second.
Debbie, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion passed, we are adjourned, thank you so much.
Good job, Joanna.
No, exactly.
One day, Alicia.
That Roberts and his rules, they're tricky.
They are tricky. Well, so I'm the president of the board for a children's home in Uganda. And I tell them they are sadly mistaken to put me in that spot on a regular basis because they're tricky. I have to do that and I'm always like, if I'm